Hello everybody! Today I'm going to be showing you my Bentley House Minis shutter kit, and I'm going to be showing you what comes in the kit and how you can put it together with a few different options. Each kit should come packaged in a box. Because they're made out of paper, I like to make sure that they are in a box, well packaged so that nothing gets bent in the mail. You can open up the tissue paper and inside you should have instructions, one bag that has the shutter kit itself, and then another small bag that has a cotton swab and a few bits of paper. Inside this first bag, you're going to see that it is actually just one bag and it's folded over. You can remove the staples. This is so that the pieces don't collide with each other while they're in the mail. You can take out one side, which has the shutter frames, and then the other side has flat pieces that I'm calling the shutter slits. If you ordered your shutter kit after June 2020, it will actually come looking like this. It will have one sheet of mat board holding the shutter frames, and you will get another piece of double thick cardstock that has the shutter slits. It also contains the individual pieces of paper that in this video I will tell you is in a small plastic bag, but for after June 2020 it is actually in the sheets. To remove these items, all you need to do is cut through the tabs that are holding the shutter frames to the pieces of mat board. All kit pages are initially vacuumed when they come off of the laser cutter, but you may need to use the provided cotton swab to go down the sides to remove any remaining laser ash. You can also use this to get any ash off your fingers as well. One nice thing about the kit coming this way is you do get to keep the inset pieces of the frames and you can make it into a shelf or something. You also need to cut through the tabs on the double thick cardstock, and this will release the shutter slit pieces from the cardstock piece. Make sure you use a sharp X-Acto blade while you're working on this. Again, you can clean the sides of these pieces with the cotton swab. Now you have your shutter slits and frames just like the original kit. And don't forget these pieces down at the bottom if later on you want to hinge your shutters together. To start assembling your kit, you're going to take one of the frames, and there is a back side and a front side. The back side is going to have more laser burn on it. It really doesn't matter which way you put it, but I like to put it so that the laser burn is on the back side and it gets glued down on top of the shutter slits piece. It should line up perfectly. I'm going to be using tacky glue to attach the two together. I'm going to do this for each individual shutter. All it is just gluing the frame onto the shutter slits. I want to make sure that the glue dries completely before I move on to the next step. The next step is going to be using some tweezers to rotate the shutter slits so that they look slightly open. To do this, I'm going to go a few slits up from the bottom of the shutter and slowly and gently put my tweezers in between the openings and start to turn the shutter openings slightly. You want to do this gently. It should not break the paper if you go slowly and gently. I'm going to turn each slit just at a slight angle, not a complete 90 degrees because that could possibly rip the paper. I'm going to go all the way up the shutter because now it's easy to get my tweezers in between, and then I can turn the shutter around and do those few that were left at the bottom that I skipped when I first began. I'm going to do this until all of them are popped out. Each kit is cleaned by hand with a cotton swab. However, when you start to open the shutter slits, because those are not accessible before I package them, you may want to run a cotton swab along the edges to clear off any remaining laser ash. I've done this same process for each one of my shutters, and I now have 4 shutters ready to paint. If you decide that you want to have aged shutters or a shutter that looks like it might belong on a haunted house, you want to go ahead and break a few of those slits so that they can add some more character to your shutters. All I'm doing is taking a craft knife and my tweezers. I'm breaking one side and pulling the side down. I'm also removing one of the entire slits. If I do break a side, I want to make sure and add some glue to glue down the piece that I previously broke. Otherwise, it's it's not going to be very secure, and you might have that piece break off later. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to paint the set on the left in a more modern shade, and then I'm going to paint the set on the right as a more like haunted house type look. I'm using a bright turquoise here, and my suggestion is that you would do at least 2 or 3 coats of paint. Thankfully, because this is paper, it takes paint very, very well. However, I do suggest that you paint the front and the back at the same time, as this will reduce warping. As an example, I have painted the shutter on the left with 1 coat of paint, and you can see that they're still white from the paper showing through. The shutter on the right has 2 coats of paint, and you could probably even add 1 more to give it 1 final coat of paint that gives it an even look. For the shutters on the right, I am going to be painting it a basic brown, and then I'm going to be dry brushing white on top of it to give it a look as if these are very old shutters and the paint is starting to come off. Dry brushing is a technique where you get paint on your brush and then you take most of it off using a paper towel, and then you put whatever is left on the brush, so a very light coat of paint on top of a base coat. Now I'm going to show you how these shutters line up against a typical green leaf dollhouse kit. Sometimes dollhouse kits come with shutters, but oftentimes they don't look very realistic, so if you wanted to swap out the kit's shutters with some new shutters, the Bentley House Mini Kits is an option. As you can see, you can put them on so that they look closed, you can put them to the side so that they look open, and if you're doing more of a raggedy old house look, you can put them at an angle. There's many ways that you could apply the shutters to the house. This size also works really well for Real Good Toys kits. As you can see, this is my Addams Family dollhouse, which is made from a Real Good Toys kit, and I have used the age shutter look for the outside of this house. Another option you have, there are some small pieces of cardstock in there. If you don't want shutters on the outside of your house, but you're looking to make a really cute shop display, or something like a room divider, what I'm going to do is take my shutters, I'm going to rearrange them and flip them over to the back. These small pieces of paper that come into the kit make some pretty basic hinges, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them to the back of each piece to connect all 4 shutters together. Once the glue is dry, I should have one piece that I can now hinge and bend into a shape that I like. I'm also going to be painting over these hinges with a color that complements all of the different shutters, and you can do this before you glue it on. I did it afterwards and it worked just as well. All I'm going to do now is take some colors from the opposite set of shutters. So I'm going to put some brown on top of the teal, I'm going to put some teal on top of the brown, and then I'm going to add some white here and there to make the shutters look like they have a cohesive look. And I think this would make a really cute shop display if you're doing a shabby chic type of style. And yeah, it has like the pennants, it could be a really cute party backdrop, it could be so many different things. I think it's a really versatile kit, and I really enjoyed putting it together, and I really hope that you guys will enjoy it. Here is again a look at the different ways you can use the shutter kit on houses. These are the 2 most well-known here in America dollhouse kits, but if you have anything specific you're looking for, I'm always willing to branch out and make other sizes. Just let me know in the comments. If you're interested in picking up a kit for yourself, make sure you head to bentleyhouseminis.com and go to the store tab. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.